Hello and welcome to Fault Lines. I'm your host Raza. India waged a hybrid war against Pakistan after facing a defeat in the hands of Pakistani armed forces, Pakistani Air Force, and the entire Pakistani nation. Now India waged a hybrid war against Pakistan, and this is not a new phenomena. India was using the proxies in Balochistan, using the non-state actors to conduct the acts of terror in Balochistan and all over Pakistan, and that was the cheap tactic India was employing for the last so many years, but not anymore. Pakistan and the state of Pakistan, Pakistani civilian leadership, Pakistani armed forces, they are very vigilant, very mindful of the fact that what cheap tactics our enemy can employ. Now, while we are facing this the fifth generation war, in which the narrative, the war of narrative, is of a paramount importance. Now Pakistan is basically trying to give the state of Pakistan trying to give every stakeholder a hope and a confidence that they should not become a hostage to the ideology of what the enemy is propagating at the moment, which is India. And after the facing humiliating defeat in the hands of the Pakistani armed forces, downing of the aircrafts, the botched attacks against the Pakistani important targets, and now the admission of the Chief of Defence Staff by India, it's a humiliation factor and element, and all Indian analysts are now questioning the leadership of Narendra Modi, unfortunately now the Prime Minister of India, that how and why he is still leading the country and why he allowed a serving army official to go on the to go public and on the media and confess to the downing of the state-of-the-art aircraft in the hands of the Pakistani Air Force. Now, when we say that, Field Marshal Sayyid Asim Munir, he made a very important point today while addressing to Jirga in Balochistan, and he said that the act of terror in Balochistan, they have all the footprints of India. Indian intelligence agencies are using and providing financial support and all support to the non-state actors. Now we have rebranding them as Fitna al-Hindustan. So these are the people, the groups, the elements which are trying to weaken Pakistan, destabilize Pakistan, and basically fanning the elements of separatism in Balochistan. How we are going to deal with them? The Prime Minister yesterday to be specific, announced rupees 250 billion rupees development package for Balochistan, so that the backwardness of that specific province would not be there anymore in future, and the people who are raising questions that the backwardness or the socio-economic conditions of Balochistan may play a critical role in making these people vulnerable to the terrorist ideologies or to play in the hands of the enemies like India would not be there anymore. These are the topics we are going to discuss today, but the very important and the very first topic what we are going to discuss is basically the embarrassment of the Indian media. Indian media, which we are now referring as in Urdu as Godi media, like Modi media or Godi media. The Indian media basically try to fan the jingoistic tendencies, the elements, the sentiments, and they try to provoke the entire population of India to go for the war against Pakistan. But that strategy, that tactic failed badly when India faced a humiliating defeat against the Pakistani armed forces. So now the media, with its tail between its legs, is trying to find the ways to how to get rid of this situation. And while they are doing it, they are making mistakes after mistakes. And now Indian media is retracting their statements, they are contradicting their statements. The Indian journalists who were supporting Narendra Modi, who were claiming that Pakistan has they destroyed Karachi port, they destroyed the entire military infrastructure of Pakistan. Now all those Indian journalists are forced to delete their posts on the social media. They are retracting their stories. They are doing exactly what people do when they face the defeat. Now whatever respect, if at all, they have to salvage, now they are doing it. They are trying their level best, but we are not letting them off the hook. We will show them their real face, and we will show them that this is not the journalism they are supposed to do when they join this sacred profession. In the studio, I am being joined by Dr. Sundas Malik. Sundas Mustaqeem, I'm sorry, she's a well-known analyst and the international relation expert. Thank you so much, Dr. Saiba, for your time as well. We have Zahid Gishkori, senior journalist. Thank you so much, Zahid Gishkori, for your time as well. We have Mohammad Basim, a very senior analyst on the international affairs. Thank you so much, Mohammad Basim, for your time as well. Zahid Gishkori, can you hear me?
Yes, Shahzad, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, Zahid. And let me begin by asking, the Indian journalists are forced to, withdraw their social media posts. They are denying their old stories which they posted or they wrote or they reported on the live television in the recent past. So why it happened? So why the Indian journalists, the Indian media, they did not adhere to the basic principle of journalism? Why it happened exactly, Zahid?
Shahzad, thank you very much, and my assalamu alaikum to your guest. And because one most important thing between Pakistan and India war, we have seen this, and fortunately admitted by Indian defense chief as well, that 15% crucial time of Indian armed forces wasted by Indian media fake stories. And this was admitted on the international platform, and all English dailies by Indian media today carried out this story that this is very unfortunate that between the war, we have seen this, that all leading English dailies and television channels and the whole media, including prominent journalists of India, fabricated stories, invented stories, and all actually when wishes become stories, and they all completed the whole data, the whole war and everything in single one night of May 7th and 8th between they reported this, which I don't need to repeat it, that, and now they have started deleting their tweets and social media posts and apologizing to their viewers. It means that in war of narrative, Pakistani perspective was admitted by international media, because I think there were two reasons. One, the Pakistani media played a crucial role, and they reported somehow of crucial facts, and they were the arguments were borrowed by international media as well. And this is the only reason that Pakistani narrative dominated over not only over international media, but also here in Pakistan and India as well. And on the other hand, international media did not believe in reporting what Indian media have done, and this was the only reason I think they failed to build the narrative against Pakistan. And one most important thing, I think, even if you remember, I'm sure that you could recall it, that the Hindu and Hindustan Times also carried out a story that 3 aircrafts were down by Pakistan. At least this was admitted by the local authorities. They cited the sources from Indian Punjab as well and Haryana. And later on, the tweet by Hindustan Times and the Hindu, the most credible newspapers of India, they were deleted, I think, pressurized by the government. And later on,
a question. Do you think that, is it a welcoming sign that Indian media, I mean, I'm not, specifying, to be specific, the neutral Indian media or the Indian media which is pro-Congress, which is anti-BJP, at least they are now, they have started asking relevant questions, asking the Modi Sarkar to tell us the truth. While the CDS could give the interviews to Bloomberg or Reuters in Singapore, admitting that several of their state-of-the-art military aircraft were destroyed by the Pakistani Air Force, while he's not, or Narendra Modi Sarkar not telling the Indian government the exact facts. So do we think at the moment that Indian media has now started asking the relevant questions or no?
I think this has been a very problem with Indian media because I have been a short scholar. I studied Indian media. I have been over there. So they have more than 216 channels and having plus point in Pakistan, that more than 9 English channels as well. And giving fake story and fabricated stories, and they were inventing stories by their anchor person, senior prominent journalists like Barka, that I would name her because she was saying that the Pakistani pirates were captured and Karachi ports were also occupied by Indian Navy. So it's absolutely baseless. There are no ground. Obviously, both countries were.
Okay, do stay with us, Zaid, do stay with us. Basim Saab, can you hear me?
Am I audible?
You are absolutely audible. Let me ask a question from Dr. Sundas and then I'll get back to you. Dr. Sundas, Indian media, the role and the cut of Indian media is very humiliating for anyone who is associated with this profession, journalism. Now Indian media and those newspapers and the media outlets who are generally considered pro-Congress, they are basically asking Modi Sarkar to give them the answer. But were they sleeping when entire things was unfolding, when Pakistan gave the irrefutable evidence how we damaged the enemy in reaction, in self-defense to be specific?
Mr. Raza, that's what we are thinking, that they are shameless or they should be ashamed of what they have done. That's our part of the story, but they are not thinking this way. They are very proud of what they have been portraying against Pakistan and against their own Modi government. They are not ashamed at all. In fact, they are very proudly presenting the manipulation and mispropaganda and the fake facts in their dictionary, the fake facts. So they are super proud of what they are presenting. They are not ashamed at all. In fact, the whole international media is making fun of them, but still they are asking questions, but not apparently. They are pointing, they are raising questions with each other only, I think, on social media, but on mainstream media, they are not even allowed to say a single word against their BJP government.
Why?
Because because they don't have any freedom of expression. They have civil freedom of expression.
They claim to be the largest democracy,
but they have no freedom of expression. Even their opposition cannot say a single word against BJP government. So just forget if their media can dare to say a single word against their current government. They are helpless. They are speechless. They are I would say, they're in the prison. They are not doing their neutral journalism. They don't know how to be a neutral journalist. So they are not ashamed of anything. If they might be ashamed on social media, but not apparently. What their their females and their local public is saying against Modi government, against their Operation Sindoor. They are hurting the Hindu females by launching this Operation Sindoor because they are saying that morally and ethically they are feeling so hurt and so speechless because they are saying it's only their husband's right to have this sindoor, and they are making fun of this precious and sacred thing. They call it sindoor. So don't make fun of this sindoor thing. According to the Hindu females, they are the champions when it comes to violation of women rights, violation of minority rights, violation of human rights in particular. So now they have started violating and hurting the sentiments of their own Hindu females by making fun of this sindoor.
Basim Saab, if you like to comment on the role of Indian media in this entire episode, you are more than welcome, because Indian media, it violated every principle of good journalism, which world, reputed media outlets, practiced in the past and we were taught during the school and the college, number one. And number two, when we talk about the dialogue, why should there be dialogue at the first place? I mean, we were asking India, we were requesting India to come to the dialogue table and resolve all the disputed issues in a very civilized manner. But India never listened to the reason, the sage's argument which we presented. But now, when they faced a humiliating defeat, they are indirectly giving the vibes that they are very much interested in the dialogue process. So why should we be interested in the dialogue?
Okay, thank you so very much for having me, first of all. When we talk about the Indian media's role, there's a history behind it. Where Indian media, it has a very long and a very rich history too. Before partition, we saw prominent newspapers such as The Hindu, The Indian Express, and multiple others. They played a very vital role in shaping the public opinion. Now, the Modi government, it actually realized this fact, and they utilized this very media for the indoctrination of the whole of public into a very radical nationalist sort of a narrative. Now, the idea of the way, RSS propagated the definition of Hindu, that Hindus are different from others, and all of that, it was basically propagated by the utilization of media. For that matter, these people, they corporatized media. Mr. Adani and multiple other investors like him, they bought prominent news channels, and those prominent news channels, they were actually aimed at shaping the public narrative into a very hardcore right-wing ultra-nationalist narrative. Now, that narrative is very jingoist too. It is very warmongering, and this is exactly what we saw. Now, in order to get more TRPs, in order to get more public outreach, these media channels, they started this warmongering throughout this episode, throughout this crisis, and we've noticed that. They captured Lahore port, for example. They started, bombing Peshawar. They started bombing Quetta, for God's sake. I mean, it was absurd to witness. It was really absurd to witness. Secondly, the sensationalism that is, I would say, that is in the very fabric of the Indian society. Now they are utilizing sensationalism, the Bollywood mentality. So a hero goes and he, obliterates everything across the border. That's exactly what they're depicting. And the public, they are resorting to it. Throughout this episode, I was, noticing the tweets on Twitter and other social media platforms as well. And the people were believing them. But when all of this facade, this illusion, it fell down, it was something that they could not control. People started questioning them. The sane voices, the neutral voices, there are many, such as the Wire platform. It's a very objective sort of a platform. I like that, and I listened to the interviews over there. They banned it. Multiple other YouTube channels were banned. Multiple people, such as the very prominent defense analyst, Praveen Swani, he was banned. He was banned to speak at any platform. I mean, this is not how...
Karan Thapar was banned on the social media in India.
Exactly. Now, coming to the dialogue portion, I believe that there should be dialogue. There should be a dialogue between the two nuclear nations, nuclear armed nations. There should be dialogue. But Mr. Modi, when he introduced, after this whole episode, when he talked about the new normal, he forgot that there is another side of the new normal too, which is Pakistan.
What's a new normal? What's a new normal?
When he talked about the new normal, according to him, the new normal is that whenever a terror attack will happen, we'll start attacking Pakistan. See, and the other side of the new normal, he forgot to, notice that. That side is that Pakistan can respond in a very effective manner, in a very...
That's a new normal according to Narendra Modi, whatever mindset he's having at the moment, but not according to any sane nation in the world. No nation, even the staunch supporter of India, they appreciated or backed that stance of Modi Sarkar, that this is the new normal, or they can, attack Pakistan or any other country just because of a hunch or their own petty political gains. So that new normal was rejected at the same time, at the same place by every important capital in the world. Don't you agree?
I totally agree with you on that. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say. There is over 2 billion people living in the subcontinent. I mean, are you talking like, like Pakistan? Do not take Pakistan as some Middle Eastern state where there is entirely a one-sided war. You can go in and do that. You were shown what your capabilities were. The Indian Air Chief, the most recent interview that he gave, which was pretty much very sad to see a leader of a very professional air force talk like that. He said that it took 2 days for them to again fly all of their aircraft. I mean, you were dismantled. Your whole military structure was dismantled. And still you're, spewing all this warmongering on media and telling your people about this. This is actually absurd.
Sayyid Basim Saab, can I interrupt here? I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but I'll get back to you with more questions. But Zahid, if you can still hear me, while we are talking about the dialogue process and resolving all the disputed issues through a meaningful dialogue, Pakistan invited India on the dialogue table time and again in the past, but it was India that rejected all those efforts, all those peace overtures by Pakistan. Now, India resorted to a new law. You must have heard the statement of DG ISPR last week when he said that India intensified its effort to sponsor the acts of terror in Pakistan, particularly in Balochistan, using the proxies. So now they are trying to destabilize Pakistan using those proxies. What do you say that why and how and where all these proxies are coming from, and how important it is to control them, check them through kinetic operations or other means, as Prime Minister announced the other day?
I think this is very important debate here in Pakistan, and the role of hostile intelligence agencies in bordering areas of Pakistan, particularly in Balochistan, because it's very, very crucial, and it's obvious, and the whole world knows that the Indian proxies are very much active with the Baloch militant organizations, and now Pakistan renamed them with the Fitna Hindustan or the Bharat. So I think this is a test as well for Pakistan Armed Forces, Pakistan government as well, and the announcement through JIGA by the Prime Minister yesterday. I think Pakistan has been, and the federal government particularly, has been giving a lot of money to Balochistan. No doubt it's a different debate. I would not focus on this. Balochistan has been taking these funds as well as other provinces. But I think Pakistan should engage and convince internationally to different authorities and forums that how Pakistan is the real victim of terrorism through these proxies, and as India says that this terrorism and talk cannot go hand in hand. I think Pakistan is the first victim, because Pakistan offered international support, investigation to India in Pahalgam attack, and the latest findings on this attack, which based full-scale war between India and Pakistan, findings suggest that it was by and large a false flag oppression. International media is now reporting this because India could not bring out anything substantiative. Who were the attackers? Who planned this and where this was planned actually? And it had
the entire world is saying it. Every important media outlet across the world is reporting that it was a false flag operation, but Indian government, Modi Sarkar to be specific, they are not ashamed at all, and for the obvious reasons. Viewers, we are taking a very short break here, and we will continue our discussion after that. Do stay with us. Welcome back to the program. We are discussing Pakistan-India relationship, and especially the warmongering by Modi Sarkar and the jingoistic posturing of Indian media. I'm in the program we have Dr. Sundas Mustaqeem, Sayyid Basim and Zaid Gishkori. Dr. Sundas Mustaqeem, when we talk about the dialogue process, Pakistan time and again in the past offer India to hold dialogue on the important disputed issues and resolve every disputed issue, including the core dispute of Jammu and Kashmir, through a meaningful dialogue process. India always refused that. India always shied away from the dialogue process. India always, looked down upon us. Now, when they had their state-of-the-art fighter jets down by the Pakistani armed forces, Pakistani Air Force, they face humiliating defeats on the diplomatic front. Every important capital accusing India of warmongering. President Donald Trump trying to mediate between Pakistan and India is keeping very mysterious silence. So now, should we, the Pakistanis, the Pakistani government, the state of Pakistan, be really interested in the dialogue process when we know the enemy is not, honest? They would every time, whenever they get the opportunity, they would, deceive us. They would, try every opportunity to damage Pakistan. So, is dialogue is the right option, right track with India?
Mr. Shahzad, you have given the answer as well, because it was just a useless activity and exercise to offer them negotiations every time. As you said, they deceived us, and this is how they listen. They actually now they are telling us that this is the way they used to. They are habitual of listening to us, and because only as what Taliban did to us, what India did to us actually, because we have immense exercise and practices on table talks and negotiations, and we tried our level best to have good communication skills with Taliban. But what happened? They only listened through kinetic means. They only listen on battlefield. So India is actually is the same enemy actually, and India is actually telling us that they only listen the kinetic means of communication, not the courteous, not the love talk, and not everything polite, anything polite. So that's how India is, that's how Indian media is. They only listen to kinetic means of warfare, the conventional warfare. That's how they should stop taking us easy, because they have history of taking Pakistan very easy and for granted, because they mistakenly thought that we only have nuclear missiles, and that we only know how to use nuclear missiles, and they mistakenly thought that no country in the whole world will support us, and as if they are the only South Asian darlings. And they mistakenly has thought that Pakistan don't know how, is not technologically advanced country, and they don't have anything against this nuclear weapon. They mistakenly thought they had the strong strategic position in the whole world in front of the US in particular. So they all their miscalculations are in front of the world. They have seen that manpower, no matter how technologically advanced any countries, but no one can snatch the manpower from Pakistan. 90% of the technology we have used by our own. Only China only supported us morally, ethically, strategically, but actually we have used our own strategic and technological means. So Pakistan is in any way is capable enough to fight against India, and now we are not going to offer them negotiations and table talks, because we have understood our lesson and they have understood.
Exactly. Dr. Sundas Mustaqeem, one question. India always took a stand, according to their own estimation. That was exactly the same lie, just like the Pahalgam false flag operation, that let's talk about terrorism, don't talk about Kashmir. That was Indian stance. Okay, fine. If you want to talk about terrorism, let's talk about the acts of terror you have backed, sponsored, supported in Balochistan. How many body bags would we continue to lift in future? There are so many casualties in the past. We lost thousands of people in the operations conducted, sponsored, supervised by the Indian intelligence agencies. And now they are asking us, they are lecturing us to come and talk about terrorism. Fine, let's talk about terrorism. And they have to answer what they have been doing in the province of Balochistan in particular, and Pakistan in general.
Not only with India, the whole world know this fact that Pakistan has lost more men than any other country in the whole world. More than 90,000 men, and not just men, we have lost our women and kids as well. So Pakistan is the front line, not only the victim of terrorism, but the frontline fighter of terrorism as well. So we are facing the fire at both ends. In Pakistan, our DG Isper has said that we are not going to bow down against the Indian hegemony, and he has also said that India is actually activating its assets to intensify terror attacks in Pakistan, presenting irrefutable evidence of India. We have all our intelligence agencies has all the credible evidence against the India that BLA and Taliban are what they are doing in Balochistan collectively. And in March in Jafar Express, we should not forget this Jafar Express where we lost 27 hostages and 18 army personnel. So we should keep on highlighting Jafar Express. We should keep on talking about Jafar Express, and we should raising our voice in front of the whole world that India has always took initiative. We are not the one who take initiative. We are the one who actually defend ourselves. So we are not the one. We are a very peaceful nation, and we know very well how to defend ourselves. You know, we actually attacked back to India on the third day. You know, so we tried at level best not to do this, but when India was keep on doing this, and they mistakenly thought that we don't know how to fight. So I think India has learned its lesson now. The self-destructive Indian government and Modi government is actually facing the backlash and consequences of attacking in Pakistan.
Of course, of course. Sayyid Basim Saab and Zahid Gishkori, same question to you guys. First, Basim Saab, yesterday when Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan gave interviews to Bloomberg and Reuters admitting the losses of state-of-the-art aircrafts by Pakistani Air Force. So Indian media is basically going crazy at the moment. Indian social media is going crazy at the moment, and they are now questioning the leadership of Narendra Modi. They are questioning why a high-ranking military official was allowed to give the interviews and admit that extensive loss Indian armed forces suffered in the hands of Pakistan. So Zahid Gishkori, first to you, that what questions Indian media is asking at the moment, and why exactly a high-ranking Indian military official was allowed to give that interview and made that startling disclosure?
I think this is very important to tell our viewers that Indian media has been bashing Indian friendly countries as well, because when Pakistan and India were in the war, Pakistan got a lot of support from its friendly countries like China and Turkey and other countries publicly that Pakistan morale was very high. But on the other hand, India was expecting high moral support and public support from different countries like from US, from Russia, but no country came up to support India publicly on this particular stance. And Indian media has been bashing against Turkey and other countries openly. And it's absolutely an overstepping as a journalist when we see all these things, that what's happening on the national television screen, and they are calling their forces, please come out and attack Pakistan and occupy whole Pakistan.
Right.
It's absolutely unacceptable when we talk about as a journalist that we should be responsible. We give information into public domain based on facts and truth.
I wish the Indian journalists think and feel the same way as you do, Zahid Gishkori. Sayyid Basim Saab, your take on this?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to say that I found the interviews by the Indian leadership a bit disoriented. When you see the External Affairs Minister, Mr. Jaishankar, giving an interview, and he was asked where was US in all of this, and he said US was in US. I mean, you can understand that. Mr. Chauhan, when he was asked about these planes, he said yes, they were down, but 2 days later we just flew them all. I mean, this is absurd. Secondly, the point here is that military is never meant to give political opinion, and military is never meant to promote a political narrative. They're not trained for that. And we could see that in the press conference that was given by their DGMO, in the press conference that was given by those low-ranking 2 female officers. And this is pretty much clear. You cannot defend something like that. It's very obvious, extremely obvious. Secondly, about the the dialogue, I would like to say a few things. A dialogue only will have to start with Kashmir. It should be understood. Secondly, a dialogue cannot occur when one state it dreams that it's a hegemon. I mean, what kind of like dialogue it would be when you're even like over I would say like you're thinking about yourself something extraordinary, something dreamy, and thirdly, a state which empirically and actively utilizes its military for the sake of political motives. This is absurd. Such state cannot have a dialogue with any other state. Pakistan, never.
But Basim Saab, unfortunately, it's a truth and it's a reality that India is a neighbor, and we really cannot change our neighbor. So, I mean, we have two choices: either we coexist or we destroy each other. So, what do you think that which is the best course to go ahead and have a good and prosperous future for the entire region?
Look, we are natural trade partners. There's no doubt about it. We share a prolonged border. We are natural trade partners. We should have trade. But when a state will have such sort of ultra-nationalistic mentality that it is obliterating its own population. I mean, more than 5,000 Kashmiris. They were captured by the Indian military after this Pahalgam false flag operation. More than 100 Kashmiris studying in multiple Indian universities, they were attacked.
Of course.
All over India. All the states. Indians, they are now, arresting their own people. Like, for God's sake, there was a travel vlogger, she was arrested. And they're talking about, a very severe sort of charges against them. When a state has such mentality, dialogue becomes very difficult. Very difficult. Unfortunate, but very difficult.
Okay. Dr. Sundas Maksimi, there are two schools of thoughts. One says that you hold dialogue on all the issues and you develop consensus, you develop a better, comfortable, congenial atmosphere to discuss the critical issues like terrorism in Balochistan by Indian spies and intelligence agencies, or the core dispute of Jammu and Kashmir. But before discussing those critical issues, you need to develop a comfortable atmosphere. And the other school of thought, they say, unless you resolve the core dispute first, you really cannot discuss any other issue. So which school of thoughts you belong to?
Well, there is a very thin line between two. So, Kashmir, Mr. Basim has very rightly has said that Kashmir dispute, we cannot start negotiations with India without resolving the Kashmir issue. I second this school of thought actually, because Kashmir is a thing which we can never forget, because we don't want to compromise in Kashmir issue. We don't want to give this misunderstanding to the world, to the whole world, not only to the India, that we have actually forget about the Kashmir and we have moved on. We can never move on without resolving this Kashmir issue. So I think we need to talk first on Kashmir issue, on AJK and what they have been thinking about the GP and AJK. We have very conscious thoughts about the current status of GP and AJK, and yes, certainly about the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. So I think we should first talk about Kashmir, we should resolve Kashmir issue, and then we can have any negotiations of peace and resolving conflict between the two countries. But yes, I also second this thought that trade should go on no matter what. We should not compromise on trade issues, especially Pakistan being the developing country and being the emerging economies, because we are trying our level best to stabilize our economy. We should not compromise on trade.
Can I ask a question here? Yeah. We are talking about having trade relation with the country which is sponsoring terrorism in our country, killing hundreds and thousands of people in Pakistan, deliberately trying to weaken Pakistan, trying to destabilize Pakistan, maligning Pakistan at every important international fora. So why should we be interested having trade relation with such a country which has all the motives to destroy Pakistan at the first place?
because that's what sensible and developed countries do, and that's how mature countries should behave like India and China. No matter what, they can never compromise on their trade. So these are the emerging superpowers, and India mistakenly thought they are becoming the superpower, but China is the real superpower in this region. So they never compromise, no matter what is happening on Ladakh, what is happening in different parts of the both of the countries. They never compromise on the trade. So that's how the mature countries should behave like. So we are actually trying to resolve our dispute, internal disputes of terrorism, and we are actually resolving.
While we believe, I'm sorry to interrupt, Dr. Sundas Mustaqeem, while we believe there are so many sane and intelligent voices in India, but of course there is none in Modi Sarkar and the jingoistic cabinet of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But we hope the sanity would prevail and Indian public would realize that these are not the people who should be allowed to rule what they call the largest democracy in the world. Thank you so much, Dr. Sundas Mustaqeem, for your time. Thank you so much, Sayyid Basim. Thank you so much, Gishkori, for your time as well. And thank you so much, viewers, for watching the program. Thank you. Good night and Khuda Hafiz.